on this cool day. We are going to be looking at our meeting goals of receiving the slate of new officers, which is number 6 on the agenda. And overview is just an overview of the MLC structure and membership. I'm meeting also hopefully the goal of 1 hour to be finished up at 10. Now, if you would please bow, I'd like to share something very special from the Montreat Cottagers meeting on July 2017. A very lovely lady named Letitia Campbell was opening the prayer for the Montreat Cottagers Landcare and Montreat Cottagers meeting. So if you would bow your heads, please. God of all creation, we give you thanks for the beauty of the earth, for the beauty you make known to us in trails, peaks, creeks, and vistas, for the mountains in Flat Creek, for Lake Susan, the Montreat Campground, Monkey Bottom, the Mica Mine, for Rainbow Mountain, Sourwood Gap, Graybeard Falls, Walker's Knob, and for all of the rocks, trees, swimming holes, and special spots that have no specific names and appear on no maps, but which we love and enjoy year after year. For the beauty of the earth, we give you thanks. Grant us the blessing of the programs that have gone on within our entities. Strengthen our resolve to protect, preserve, and present the natural features of our cove. Help us to act now for the good of future generations and all of your creatures. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Nice.
And Letitia, thank you. And I will write you a thank you note. All right. We're going to have what we call introductions. I failed to do it last month. Just to say your name, what your job is in your entity, or your particular passion on the land care, or anything in the past that you would like to share of your participation on land care. So if you would, Dottie, I asked Dottie to start, and please go ahead. We can't hear you. Unmute.
Always need to remember to do that. Sorry. Yes, I am Dottie Schumann, and I'm a professor of outdoor and environmental education here at Montreat College. This is my 25th year in the Cove, teaching here at Montreat, and I've been involved in land care since its inception, as well as the Park and Rec committee that preceded the land care committee. So happy to be a part of this group, and always so thankful for all that all of you all do for the Cove.
How about Josh following up, since he's your buddy there? Josh, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I am. So, yeah, I'm Josh Holbrook, assistant professor of environmental science, and I've been here since fall 2017, so my year up. And I was on land care since I first started. So, yeah, I think that was it. Is there anything else you're looking for?
Thank you. And Josh was breaking up a little bit because he must be down toward 04. But we're glad just keep your 2 hands on the wheel, Josh. All right, let's move up. I'm looking across. Let's go to Ann Vincent, please.
Okay, well, I'm Ann Vincent, and I am currently chair of the tree board, and I'm actually here in capacity for the town. And I've also chaired the sometimes committee that meets. It's the Cottagers Wilderness and Open Space Committee that maintains the Rocky Knob property.
Thank you. I see Patty to my right. I'm just going across the stamp board here. Patty?
Hi, Patty Pyle. I'm new to the committee, but not new to Montreat. I started coming here in 1959 when there was a Montreat Camp for Girls, and I went every year until it closed. My dad built our family cottage in 1966. I live on Chapman Road, and I volunteered for Stream Team this summer, and at our closing event, Martha shoulder tapped me and asked me to get involved with children in the outdoors. So I'm happy to do that. I'm a retired kindergarten teacher, and I moved here full-time 5 years ago after teaching in Wisconsin for many years.
Thank you, Patty. We welcome you, and someone we don't need to have to introduce, but Martha Campbell. Can you unmute? Unmute. Yeah.
I'm Martha Campbell, and I'm enjoying now being a citizen participant at Landcare meetings. I'm not officially a part of Landcare now, but have been a part of it for years before this. My family's been here for multiple generations, way back, many generations back, and I just appreciate all the work that people on this committee and others in the community have done over the years to really maintain and now to call attention to ways that we can be more involved related to our environment here.
Thank you, Martha. And thank you for all the boxes you gave me.
Oh yeah,
And files.
I have a little bit more.
Okay. Jean Norris, unmuting. Jean, oh. Okay, well, we'll come back. Brad, we'll tell you're in the Andes. There's Jean. Jean, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
I think she thinks she's doing it. Jean,
Okay,
we're not
well,
hearing you.
Yeah.
I'll speak up and then I'll go tap her.
Okay, why don't Brad, you introduce yourself and then you can help Jean out if you can.
So Brad Hester, and I'm a member of the. I don't know where that's coming from.
Okay.
I'm a member.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know that's coming from here.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we're hearing an echo, Brad, from you, and then Jean can't get on. We'll come back to you.
Okay,
And
okay.
Is that good? Thank you.
Yeah.
Alice, our faithful Crown Commissioner.
Thank you, Grace. Yes, I'm Alice Lentz, Commissioner for the town of Montreat, assigned to environmental issues. So I'm very privileged to serve here on Landcare and Tree Board and other related issues, as well as other committees that I'm assigned to, non-environmental. Grace, I'm reflecting on your reflection from this morning and how beautiful that was. So thanks for sharing that. My first association with, are you guys hearing an echo?
Yeah.
I'm hearing.
Maybe we need to unmute. There we go.
Yeah, it looks like it might be coming through Jean's because her picture keeps on popping up. Can you mute?
She just
Okay.
muted. Yeah. Go ahead, Alice.
Okay. Well, my first visit to Montreat was in the summer of 1952, before I was born. By the next summer, I had been born. So, but my family started coming here in 1916. My great grandfather Boggs, and so I moved here full time 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, just along the time that Patty did, and have been excited about Landcare for lots of reasons. One, its founding in Australia. And
yes.
Growing out of that, the way that Landcare gathers various entities and the strong partnerships that this committee has developed elsewhere, like with Mountain True and many other organizations, as well as just the amazing contributions by individuals in this community working together. So thank you for allowing me to join you.
And thank you for all your support in the liaison capacity. Brad, did we get back on target, Brad?
I hope so. Seems like maybe so. So yeah. So I think I'm a member of the public now.
Yes.
I'm also on the tree board, but I'm not here in that capacity at this point. History with Montreat. I think I have photos of my grandfather being here somewhere in the 1930s. So the family has a long time connection with Montreat. We've lived here for about 4 years now.
Excellent. Can Jean hear us now? Oh, still a problem with her. We can't hear. Sorry, Jean. We'll come back. Tracy, I see you're there with the Montreat Conference Center. Welcome again. You can unmute. Yeah. Tracy? Yeah.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Tracy Bailey, and I'm on staff of the Montreat Conference Center. I began work in ministry with them in 1986, but that was not my first time to Montreat. I actually graduated from high school at Owen High School in Anderson Auditorium. So that was my first experience coming to Montreat, and I am delighted and privileged to be able to serve on this team with all of you.
Thank you. Meredith Green, I'm trying to get you off on my other screens. Are you there, Meredith? I think she's still under mute, but I can see coming up here is Hal Demarest. Unmute Hal. There you go, Hal.
Hi, yes, I'm Hal Demarest, and I represent Montreat Presbyterian Church on the committee.
Thank you. And you have a beautiful home here in Montreat, but you also go back to Florida still, right?
We're still part-timers. We
Yeah.
did it about 10 years ago. We've been coming up since about 1980.
Good.
For conferences and vacations, and decided we wanted to be up here more. So now we're 6 months each way.
Excellent.
Back in Florida and 6 months up in Montreat.
Excellent. Jason's on, and we'd love to hear from Jason.
Hello.
Hey, Jason.
So I'm Jason. This is Apollo, who's keeping good watch. I am the Ranger and Wilderness Director for Montreat Conference Center. And I guess I'm on a couple of other, representing a couple other things on this list too. So.
Yes, you are. You wear a lot of different hats, and you are greatly appreciated, and all the energy. And you're year-round now, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay. Did we get Meredith on here yet? Meredith Green? It's muted, but, and then I'll just go on and we'll get back. If she's hearing us, she'll be taking our minutes. And Maggie Ray, where are you, Maggie?
I'm under iPad.
Yeah, well, it's a good name.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I am a retired vice chair of Landcare. I've been on it for about 5 years, I think, and it's been a great joy. I live on Graybeard Trail, which I hate has so much traffic these days. But other than that, it's a wonderful, wonderful life up here. Thanks.
Okay. And Alex, we see you and we appreciate your being the standby, setting up the Zoom meeting, recording it for us, and all your hard work as the town administrator. You want to tell us a little more about you?
Sure. I'm the town administrator. I've been in this role for 4 years and have been serving on Landcare that whole time. I first came to Montreat in the mid-90s as a youth conferee, so that was my my exposure to Montreat. Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have any public members or anyone else that I cannot see on my screen? And we still cannot get Meredith in yet. Do we have Ed Kramer who often attends? Is Ed here? Okay. Any other visitors? Jean, are you able to hear or you can speak? Oh, it's still the audio problem. I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on. We'll come back if we can revive some of these. If there's a review of the agenda to see if there are any subjects that need to be added, please speak right now. Please also understand there could be some misspellings. Patty, I know you have a problem, I'm sure, because you can get a P-A-T-T-Y and an I-E, but you are officially P-A-T-T-I. So I want to be sure we always make those corrections. Anything added for the agenda or questions about it? Well, let's then review the minutes of our meeting of January 6th, which Katie Whitmer, are there any corrections or additions? If you have read that document. No corrections, I do not hear, or any additions. Do I hear a move to?
Grace,
Yeah.
I have a question. I don't have the minutes in front of me. I read them yesterday. On the statement that's to be developed about Landcare from this committee, my recollection was that Dottie was going to draft it. And my suggestion in our last meeting was that this committee, Dottie or others, reach out to all entities that constitute Landcare. So just figuring that that would just give greater force to whatever this committee wants to submit to me to take on to town council or to send whatever. So I'm not planning to write this statement. I simply wanted to add that notion of the power that could be felt from other organizations having been contacted. And I wasn't sure that that was clear in the minutes.
Okay. And where in that part of the number?
Dottie, I don't know if you have thoughts on that or what. I hope that I did not misspeak in that.
No, go ahead, Dottie.
I had drafted a statement and sent it to be included in the minutes, but I guess it didn't get included in the minutes.
Oh.
So yeah, so now I'm kind of going, now where is that? So I will find it again and we can, I guess.
Okay, resend it and I'll attach it and send it out. Thank you. Alice, you're very
right. So we can deal with that at the
alert.
next meeting, possibly. I think it's a good suggestion from Alice.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah, and for any other additions, with that, we make is there a motion that we move to adopt with the new addition that Dottie will take care of? Do I hear a?
So move.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Now, for the budget report, Alex said he would like to come back, and I'd like for us to take a look in next month. Is that correct, Alex? No budget report from the town.
That is correct.
All right. So Maggie, we have an election of new officers, so take it off.
All right.
Your little.
You can just look at my little figure there. I would like to move that the recommendations of the nominating committee for the new person who will be our secretary and the new person who will be our vice chair, that we elect them by acclamation. The person who will be the new secretary is, excuse me,
Meredith Green.
Thank you. Well, it's Meredith Green, and the new vice chair will be Dottie
Schumann.
Oh.
You get some water. Get some water.
I've got fog brain. Anyway, I had my shot, my second shot the other day. Okay, so the motion is that we elect these two people to offices for the following 2 years. And I think we need a second.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Welcome, Meredith, even though I know you're having some trouble getting your audio working. Thank you. And Dottie and I have had a great chat. She is a historian for this, along with Martha and others. Moving to just the bylaws, it's number 7 here. And this is where it's just maybe an overview of the structure and the membership. And I think this is where Alice was speaking to also the entities and the appointments. I'm giving you this, if Alex can bring that, there are 2 documents. We don't need the third one. This is what I will be sending out so that you can do some thinking and homework about how we are going to work as a committee and how it's structured. So Alex, are you able to bring that document I sent out yesterday? Here we go. Here are the teams working under this is something that is on a spreadsheet that Maggie sent us, and it's teams working under the Landcare umbrella as of January 21st. Now, these are the people that are in the project role, and that's coming up on my screen if you see that. Now, we've got Brad listed in there because he's married to Jean, but I know he's a citizen, but he has been a very big help on the native plant sale. The Arbor Day is actually Ann Vincent and myself because I am working with the tree board with the proclamation. Bill Seaman is still working with this team of the stream team. Firewise rep is Meredith. Patty is the Children Outdoors, and Ann Vincent is the chair of the tree board. And this is the blank we have right now that will need to be filled in the National Wildlife Federation. Brad, we have you listed down because you are working with the tree chestnut restoration, and the rain gardens has still Katie listed there, but those brochures have been distributed, and we feel like it's an up and running and continuing as a wonderful project. Now, the hemlock preservation, I have a question mark, and I don't know if when we get down to tree board report with Ann, she can maybe clarify that. Now, Maggie just put in something that's interesting because she put on her spreadsheet that she's going to be like an ad hoc with history and hospitality. So now, do we have the chart now for the entities, please? This is where we want to make sure we have, that's the one we are going to not need. It's that there we go. So Dottie and Josh introduced themselves, of course, from the college. Their appointments are made by the president of the college, Mr. Maurer. Tracy and Jason, you are also an appointment by the president, Richard DeBose. And here with Meredith Green on, Alice is our commissioner, of course, the town manager, administrator, Alex. And then Meredith is going to be approved at the coming February town council meeting to be the member at large as citizen. And she's wearing the hat and being a reporter to our committee if there is a need from Alex or Alex. I wonder if you're called Alice a lot, Alex. I'm getting your names up. I am still going to be with the chair, Ann Vincent, a rep from the Montreat Cottagers Wilderness and Open Space. And as I said, we'll be filling in the community wildlife. And Jason, you really are in the appointment of the college, but you're still with the Montreat Trail Club. So where that says the member, Jason's name should be in there, and I forgot to make that addition. It was on my second chart, and so Jason, we appreciate that. Hal, of course, is there. So these are the 8 entities with the Wilderness, MRA Wilderness Committee. We're going to be having that as a dormant committee right now, but it has had a history of outstanding accomplishments. So go ahead.
I was saying, with the unfortunate passing of O'Neill and the retirement voluntarily of several of them, I think there are now 2 members from the thing. So I don't know how much that's actually in existence.
The Trail Club?
No, well, the Trail Club's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
But it's not quite as bad as the Wilderness Committee, but the Wilderness Committee has just had people step down, like Jane Holt, which is great. She did great work, and I don't begrudge her that. But it's just not much of a committee. There's no quorum, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, it was suggested by Martha Campbell from our past chair of this committee that we leave that slot in there, and I'm going to have some discussions with Jason about it, and also perhaps with Richard DeBose in the next month. So. Jason, you are keeping that thread of your outstanding work and what you've been doing to keep that representation going is wonderful, and we thank you. Any other questions regarding this? Is something I just wanted us to think about for next March for a structure of kind of activities we're doing, where we are working with Landcare in our entities, and how can Landcare then help your entity out. So this is a draft of our questions that we're having, and I think Alice, appreciate your time that you're spending with Maggie on that too. Okay, any questions?
Yes, yeah. I have a couple questions. So going back to our bylaws, I think there's a slight confusion. First of all, thank you for this hard work, because I think this really does need to be clarified as to who the committee members are. And so if we go back to the bylaws, I'm a little confused on the town of Montreat, because the way I used to understand it is that there were 2 town members plus a town commissioner. And the Alex would not be one of those members.
Uh-huh.
He is, I think the position of the town commissioner was something different, like ad hoc or just in his advisory type of a person. That's not clarified anywhere, but we used to have 2 appointed members of the town of Montreat that were citizens. Like Martha played that role, Mike Sonnenberg played that role, Sam Hope played that role in the past. So those were just, so people that our town live here can fill that role. So, and the bylaws say 2 members. So really we just have 1 member right now represented, I think, the way I understand it.
Well, Meredith is being approved as the at-large, which has been in the history in the last 4 years. But let's look at that with Maggie when we are, again, working with Alice and maybe a meeting in the next week about the clarification of that. So Dottie, that's outstanding observation, because I was confused myself. And as you can see, I put in Town of Montreat, but we cannot do without Alex. So.
Right, but I think, I don't know, his role or the role of his vote. I mean, I think that's something we need to clear. I'm just really raising questions of things to clarify. Okay. And then the way I understood the Wilderness Committee is that was a committee of the MRA. Yes. And so I think the MRA makes the decision as to whether or not that committee is going to continue. And then we change our bylaws if the committee is no longer, because right now that is also 1 member. And I think that information from somebody who is thinking about wilderness is important to our committee. But again, that's an MRA decision if they're shutting down the committee. But I would like to make the recommendation that the MRA ask for new members on that committee and figure out what that role is and continue that committee so that we can be abreast of what's going on, in the wilderness per se, or in the protected areas.
Yes. Well, I think that would be then a recommendation, and Meredith as the secretary, that could be then written up in our minutes, and then that would be something that I would be happy as our leader here in the Landcare to work and to talk first with Jason, and maybe Jason, the 2 of us can be in touch with Richard DeBose. And that would have to, again, be something that, and Dottie is correct, that we need to make sure that that's what we're getting from our Montreat Conference Center.
And the same thing with the Trail Club, Jason. I think having another representative from the Trail Club would be helpful. I think, the broader that we make our committee, the more projects that we'll do. So it seems like if we can have another person instead of Jason doing double duty.
I agree so much. I only got Trail Club because Reed left.
Right.
I would love to not completely wash my hands of it, but wash my hands of it as much as I can. Because right now there's no, occasionally I'll get an email from a member who says, wow, when are we going to do something? But I never have any interest in anyone who's part of the thing in planning, organizing, taking over, anything like that. Reed was the heart of this reboot. And, unfortunately, the last Trail Club, the same Trail Club before, ran into the same situation when, Skip Taylor said, I don't want to do it anymore. Well, no one else wanted to.
Okay.
Well, it is an issue.
And then, sorry, I'm taking so much time, but my third point is that the community wildlife habitat person should be the same person that keeps up with the phone calls.
Absolutely.
And that also can be a town member. And so I know how our positions are appointed here by our presidents at the MRA and the college, but I never was quite sure who appointed the community members, if they just volunteered or if there was a committee of people that asked. But it seems like maybe we could have like some advertising about Landcare that we're looking for new members, and we've got these positions open, because it's great that we're doing all these other projects. And I love your project list, but I think the heart of the committee also needs to be established. And I found all these notes too about a quorum and what a quorum is.
Yeah.
You know, if we're an official committee of the town, then we need to follow those rules and regulations, I guess.
And
So,
we are, yes, we are under those North Carolina rules of the open meeting and quorums and voting. I know that when I talked to Katie Whitmer, she is willing to she actually said, she volunteered. So there was never an appointment, but we've got to clarify that. And I would like to go back with you, Dottie, and Maggie with the bylaws on that appointment and clarify that, because I did not feel like I can appoint. I have some people in my mind who have been working on their own personal habitats and their wildlife excitement of making their yards in Montreat, but I do think it could be offered as as recruitment of getting people to be, and it could be more than just one, but one could come just to our land care, because there are a lot of breakouts. I have gone through this brochure of all the national wildlife and the Federation and all the webinars and it is an enormous wealth of information for our town. And I appreciate, Dottie, that you're bringing that up, which is why I wanted this screen to come up. And Alex, I appreciate it. And we will have an organizational structuring of this when we bring up our bylaws next month, which is what Maggie is projecting. Okay. Is there
and
any
just
other?
one last
Yeah.
comment. Jean and Brad have done so much, and yet they're not technically a member of this committee. So I think recommending people like that have, really worked on all of our projects could be formal committee members. So thank you,
Yes.
Jean and Brad, for all your hard work, and others that, Anne and everybody else. It
Yeah.
just seems like we need some official appointees.
Yes, and Dottie, that's exactly, I have said, oh my gosh, of all the people, and I said to Martha about a month ago, I said, you've got this native plant cell team of great leadership, and their position is important, and I feel like their perspective is important for a voting member. So we'll clarify. Thank you, Dottie. You're already taking on a good vice chair responsibility.
Grace,
Alice.
just to throw in two comments, I guess. One, the tree board, the Town of Montreat Tree Board was established after these projects.
It was a spinoff from Landcare, yeah.
The tree board is what, 5 years old or something like that, and Landcare's been around since 2007. This Landcare. So I'm wondering if one thing to throw out there that we can talk about when we talk about bylaws is whether or not the chair of the Montreat Tree Board should just be there as a town appointee, because the tree board is not a land care committee, it's a Town of Montreat committee. The second thing, so that's just a thought to throw out there. The second thing is that what I've learned in working with Maggie so far on these bylaws is that they are complicated, as you've indicated, Dottie, and that to change them requires going to the town council. And so the degree to which we can minimize changes, as we work through this complicated procedure without constraining anything. We want to get done what we want to get done, but just be aware we can't just be shifting entities and can't be shifting quorum numbers and representation and all that kind of thing without looking really closely at the requirement to go through town council.
Yes, and that's where that's why you're so gracious to help us out. And Maggie, again, she and I and Alice and Dottie will confirm a time, maybe even a little mini Zoom meeting to discuss that and have it structured so we're looking at exactly what needs to be done. I had taken courses on Robert Rules of Order many years ago. It's interesting, but the bylaw is a needed structure. We need to know who we are, because there are a lot of people that get confused in our community if they're not involved in the town council or not involved in the town. What is land care? And it is something that Martha and Bill Seaman have structured and beautifully defined, but you throw out wilderness committee and you get confused, and then you say, well, land care is a responsibility for all. So we will button up this soon, and within the next 4 weeks, we will reconvene on looking at these bylaws. And thank you for any other comments about the bylaws then.
Just
There is a There is a possibility that the tree board could be added as one of the entities.
Oh. Okay,
But-
put that
but
down,
again-
Meredith. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, we're looking at our time of about 25 minutes, and I think we're going to be okay. I wanted to look at the environmental concerns and see if Alex, I know I listened in on your town council, and Alice on the meeting where you did bring up the pet waste disposal. Is there any update of that and about the bag leaves collection that you would like to report from the town on that? We're looking under environmental concerns.
Yeah, so we did talk about the dog waste disposal issue at the town council meeting, and the town had already, I had already been asked to put together some information regarding costs of doing that. So I presented that information, and I think there's general interest in moving forward with placing those on public property. We've also had conversations with Richard DeBose at the MRA about kind of doing that in tandem, and I think he's assigned Tanner Pickett to kind of head that up around the trailheads. So it's moving forward.
Okay, Alice, did you want to? You made some good comments at the meeting. I remember anything regarding the bag leaves collection of being what is a private contractor definition for that?
No, that hasn't. There's no update on that.
Okay. I just would like to throw in, and Alex, it's possible because I don't know how to, I've never had a document come up, but right now I'm still seeing my document. Do I exit from that or can you exit me? I don't see any faces now, but oh, good, thank you. Okay, I just wanted to bring up very quickly another environmental concern, and you all may have something too. There is a citizen in our town who loves to get her clippers out, and she's an outdoor person, and she's found more outdoor time because of the COVID, and she is not a permanent resident, but it's Arrington Cox brought up the need for, actually it looks like not town property, and it's something that we would have to go through in a way for personal property ownership. There are many stone walls in our beautiful Montreat. She has been on North Carolina Terrace, going down even by Jane Hope, getting the invasive plant, which is really one of our concerns in the environment, of the English ivy. And they are climbing the walls of these gorgeous places along many of our streets where it could be in the right of way of the town. But this English ivy is it's a reservoir for bacterial leaf scorching that infects maple trees, oaks, and the elms. And there are not many species of any insect or animal that likes to eat the ivy. They like to eat all the pretty things we plant because it's mildly toxic. So she as a grassroots, wants to get a group going with the leadership of maybe with Landcare, identifying and with personal, the homes where there are these the walls. And so we're looking at it as save the walls of Montreat, and also seeing the beauty of rocks and the walls. So if y'all know who Arrington Cox is, I would like for her to have a presentation. She is an environmentalist. She loves Montreat. She is wanting to rent up here, but she has also associated with Bob Wynn, who have had a partnership in the last few years. So I'm going to be back in touch with her. I did talk to her on Sunday afternoon, but she's ready with her clippers, and she's for hire. If you go up North Carolina, you will see her work that's been done. So I'm going to get back to that next month. So any other invasive plants or any more discussions about environmental concerns from you all?
Grace?
Oh, and I've got to get Patty in here before she leaves. I'm sorry, Patty, you're going to have to leave soon.
It's okay. I'm good.
Oh, okay. I had you down as an alert because I knew you may have to leave the meeting. Someone just said my name. Who was that?
That was me, Ann. When you talk to, is it Erica, about the ivy on the walls, when you get to the private property, they need to be aware that some people love to have the ivy on the walls.
Yeah.
Ivy is kind of a 50-50. Is it or is it not an invasive species? Because some people absolutely love it growing up their trees or growing on the walls or on the side of the house. I'm in the it's an invasive camp, but we need to be sensitive to the people who want it there.
It looks like an education of the community on that one.
Yeah.
Maybe even a leaflet brought to all those houses that have them. I look out a window of our house and I can't see a tree because it's all the way up with green ivy, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
killing it. It's killing the trees. So that is a tree board issue too with along the public. I know the personal properties, but
Yeah.
we're not. I would hopefully that we're not all ivy leaguers.
I know.
Any other comment regarding?
Yeah, we need to be aware that it's an issue for some people. They want it there.
Yeah.
So,
I might suggest Virginia creeper as an alternative for those people who like that sort of thing, but something that's a little less invasive. And it turns real pretty red in the fall, so there's that.
Beautiful in the fall.
Yes, I love Virginia creeper. Okay, I'd like to read, if we can move on with environmental concerns, to our activity and projects report. Bill is Seaman. I'm going to be reporting a statement he sent me for our stream team, the Flat Creek. And here is his statement. Bill is going to be making a technical presentation to a statewide scientific organization's annual meeting in mid-February concerning the 2 research projects on the water quality of Flat Creek that was conducted in 2020. He will be thanking the organization for the significant funding they provided to make that work possible. After that, he will work with 2 co-authors to write a manuscript for possible publication in a science journal. And after that, he will work up a presentation for a Landcare meeting this spring. So I'm looking at that in April. I tell you, Bill is our science guy, and we have so many wonderful scientists, but he goes out there, he finds that money, and he is a worker bee. I had a great report from him. He wrote me a personal letter giving me background information on Landcare. I had a great conversation with him yesterday. And he is not going away, guys. He's going to be with us, as well as Martha. Now, with the Firewise, Meredith, can you come in and talk, or are you muted? Meredith Green? I think she still has the audio problem. Okay. There is actually no report that we'll come back for Firewise, but Rain Gardens project is an ongoing. It's been established, and Katie was getting those brochures. So as Martha has reported before, it's really there, but it's not any active work going on. And we spoke about the fact that there's still, and Katie said if she had gotten a a National Wildlife Federation call, they actually do them more quarterly. So there has not been one. She said she would come on today if there had been one and do it for her. Now, Jean, can you hear us now? Oh, Jean disappeared. There she is. Can you unmute? It is still an audio issue, unfortunately, with Jean. And I would say, Jean, that in our conversation we had, and Brad is going to go back. We'll come back to you, but I'm going to summarize something that we had discussed last week. And perhaps if you could make a statement afterwards to in an email. It is, I'm assuming, since you're nodding your head, that we're looking at the MRA, of course, knows that this is a time of the year that we have to have their approval. And it apparently is one that we have said in the past month that we cannot have an active in-person native plant sale.
Jean, do you want, excuse me for interrupting. Jean, do you want to come in here and where people can hear you?
Oh, good. And as she's moving to Brad's Andes Mountains area, Got a hiking stick going. Great, it really does look like you're there.
Yeah. Little pause.
Okay, Jean, how's the weather there, Jean?
Probably getting warm or getting cold. I forget. The seasons are the opposite.
That's right. Go ahead.
Okay, what we discussed was, in lieu of trying to make any kind of gathering, reach out to the various vendors, but we have vendors and presenters at issue, and list them as resources in some particularly nicely featured way on our Landcare website. And I have nothing as a model to present yet, but it would be something like the way they were listed in the brochures about the sale, but with probably some more detail. And the thing that I'm toying with in my mind is whether there's a way to maybe make that something like a table that ticks off whether they have trees, whether they have shrubs, whether they have plants. As I've started to explore this in my mind, other people have made other suggestions. For instance, we have at least one cut flower dealer locally who grows her own flowers, therefore they're local, they're not imported from Chile. So perhaps cut flowers is a category that we would want to have. And we have a couple of landscapers who have participated with us in various ways in the past, and maybe they should be lifted up a little. One of the things I tried to check on was, does this border on advertising, and does that put us in any legal difficulty as a nonprofit? So I have checked with our resident attorney, and he says, no, don't worry about it. Put up anything you want. So the question is, what will draw people in? What is information that is useful? And so I'm still thinking about that and need to be contacting vendors. But what other categories of information do you think are useful besides the native plants themselves, and possibly cut flowers and possibly landscaping services?
We open that up for any comment for the committee?
Jean.
Yes.
A thought just popped in. Based on what you're saying, I'm thinking of all these vendors are providing information for them. Could we consider possibly an event, if there were interest, a Zoom meeting? I mean, a Zoom native plant sale, where literally we gather these people for an educational meeting. We announce it widely. People click in if they want to and learn. I mean, I'm just thinking of our local florist, whom we all know and appreciate. And in that way, they're not advertising, they're teaching. Or at least there's no sense of advertising, but they're teaching, they're getting to know each other. They already know each other, some of them. They're reaching our community, though in a way that is not in person, but in a way that still develops community. And the thought of having a screen like the one I'm looking at now with 15 faces, but have those 15 vendors, you know, for an hour-and-a-half session. Could be fun, seems to me. And a way not to lose completely another year of the sense of community of the sale.
Excellent. Any other thoughts?
Just a thought.
A great thought. So Jean, we'll get back to you with, did you want to say something, Ann Vincent?
Yeah, I think what we need to, I don't know if you're including local entities like the Landcare Committee and the Tree Board and Hemlock Restoration, all of those folks. Are you listing those with your vendors?
Because I hadn't thought of it, but there's no reason that we shouldn't, because what we're trying to have the website be is a resource.
Yeah, and I think because most of those people, and we're hoping the American Chestnut Foundation will come in this year, and I think it's important to highlight all of those groups as well as the vendors.
So I think it would be a charge here with Jean maybe working with us and those who have spoken up to come up with that type of platform and report next March. at the
Yes.
March 3rd meeting. I think that's how we can
Yeah.
then look at it and get a consensus of the group for that. And if you would contact Jean, if you have other thoughts as Alice and if you dream about native plant sales, you can talk to her this week.
Yeah, it's getting a web page up with vendor information is something that I could do on my own, although it's always in a way better to work with other people. But with these suggestions, we've made it a bigger project than that. So
Yeah.
I'll be happy to start out taking lead on it, but we're bigger now.
Yeah, good.
And
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
Patty and the children in the outdoors, it'd be good to have a platform because we've always wanted to get the children involved during the plant sale and the different events and just introduce them. I know Dottie's done work. The college had a little event going at their tent. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Patty, when you want to respond, and your report is next anyway on our agenda. Patty?
Sure. No, that sounds good. I'd be glad to work on that. And actually, my report is really short because it's going to just involve asking for help. I had a great meeting with Martha, who filled me in. I was really not up to speed yet on track trails and kids in parks and Eco Explore. I'm getting there, and felt like a next step is to create an information sheet that we could use both to post on the website and also for some outreach, whether it's to scouts or earth care teams at churches or different entities that maybe we haven't touched base with in a while, pediatricians and so forth. So I really want to create this document, and I can do the text, but I can't make it pretty. That's not in my skill set. So I was just hoping that somebody on the team here or perhaps students that might have an interest in this or have time to help, I would really love to have some at least one person to help me do it and to be able to present the draft next month and have it go live, so to speak, by April 1st. Anybody interested? Any ideas?
Or referrals of people? I can't do it. I would love to learn, but I know Bill Seaman knows how to do it.
All right,
And
well,
Bill's
maybe I'll have a conversation with Bill. I'll keep you posted, but I expect to have a draft next month.
Excellent, thank you. And I'll be back in touch, Patty, and we'll have our conversation. And Martha, thank you for that support with Patty. Now the hemlock conservation, that's continuing, and Ann Vincent, I'd like for you to jump in first before any other entity in the beginning of the entity report of anything regarding the tree board and or the cottagers cottagers Landcare and open wilderness.
Okay.
Miss Ann?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me do the cottagers, wilderness, and open space. At the moment, it's not extremely active, but it was set up and purchased the Rocky Knob property. I know Philip Arnold has been the treasurer of this committee, and he is keeping up with paying for the insurance for the property and also keeping up with the Southern Appalachian Conservation Group in making sure that there's been no encroachment on the property. Nobody's been building stills or, taking over property or hunting or any of those things in there that they're not supposed to do. And we did get, in spite of COVID, they figured out a way to okay it and say we're still in good shape. Good. So at the moment, that's pretty much the only activity there. As far as the tree board, we met last month. We had our first meeting. We laid out a plan for what we wanted to do this year. One of the things we decided to do was to kind of set up some committees for some of the activities that the tree board's just expanded in a way I don't think anyone had anticipated, but to get other people involved. And I'm double checking to make sure there's no problem with various committees, bringing in other people to help with publicity or with the plant sale or with an Arbor Day celebration. We're going to work on an Arbor Day celebration of some sort. I think we can do that since we're not going to have be able to do a physical event with a plant sale this year. So we're working on other options. The Tree City USA has been turned in. We'll hear from them, I hope, within the next month or two. The one requirement that they did not do last year, they said nobody had to do it, was the Arbor Day celebration. But this year we are required to do a proclamation, even if we don't have an event.
Yes.
So we'll get that one figured out and make it work. And
Excellent.
I'll work with the mayor so we can get a proclamation from town council. But
and I will be working with you on that too. Thank you. Yeah.
And we'll be working on, right now we're getting ourselves organized and picking up where we left off at last November.
Good. Thank you. And I enjoyed that meeting. I attended as I'm automatically put on as the chair of Landcare. Any addition of Alex or Alice for the town? If not, we'll move on.
One thing, before the last town council meeting, the mayor had already signed the Monarch Pledge. So we are a Monarch supporter. And,
do it. Thank you.
Alex has anything. That's all. Alex, do you have anything?
That's it.
Alex said no, I couldn't hear. I'm sorry.
No, nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Dottie or Josh? Is Josh still driving, or if you want Montreat College update, Dottie? Anything else, Dottie?
I don't have anything. Josh, do you?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Okay.
Here. We're just surviving COVID.
Yes, and I'm so glad that you could be on our meeting today, Josh. We missed you last, and we're so thankful for both of your supports and working with those kids, students. The community, the MRA, Tracy or Jason, I think we've got something that we can work together on outside of this meeting as regarding to the appointments with working with Richard DeBose. So is there any other comment regarding the MRA?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything.
All right. And Ann did the update. Now the Earth Ministry team, Hal Demarest, anything you would like to announce?
The February Talk in the Woods is going to be Thursday a week on the 11th.
Cool.
And with last month we had some technical difficulties, and so we're repeating winter warming.
Oh, good.
Talk about both physical warming and spiritual warming. So everyone's invited, and we'll have an announcement with a link in the Montreat Presbyterian Church newsletter.
Great. Many, many thanks for all the hard work that you're doing in these cold times. I'm wanting to close with a projection and looking for the future for next 2 to 3 months of the website doesn't have some need of maintenance and updating. I've gotten some thoughts and ideas with that, talking with Bill and Martha. And we want to think about what new projects might be in the pipeline with the thought that they can generate enthusiasm for our committee as well as the larger community. I think as we closed the prayer at the beginning, Letitia says it's time to let's act now to present the Montreat Landcare as a credible and effective entity. So that's where I would like to say that my theme of my leadership for this year is let's act now. We can't wait. Okay, it is now 9:58. Does anyone have any two minutes or 2 seconds of comment or any questions that we need to get back in touch with anyone else? We're so thankful to have you as a group and the leadership that you have. Anyone want to say amen? If not,
amen.
It is 10 a.m. and our meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Sure,
Grace.
bye.
Thank you, Alex. Bye-bye, everyone.